American Rust Belt. So if you look at where he's focused on in terms of his electors, really a lot of focus on the Great Lakes around Michigan and Detroit, those cities which are car manufacturers and producers, but also the rural Midwest as well, the farmers and the like. He's been quite focused on those areas and protecting agriculture and the like too, and we saw that in the midterm elections. So what he's done as president is he's imposed tariffs or import duties on around, you can see here, it's about $250 billion worth of Chinese goods and services. So the trade deficit is currently around $420 billion, and what that comprises of is that America imports about $540 billion worth of goods and services from China, and in response, China only imports $120 billion worth of goods and services from America, so it's only a $420 billion trade deficit. And what we have seen is economic growth in China slow down from astronomical levels of around 15% to last year 6.6% on an annual basis. And really what we have seen is the economy slowing for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that it's trying to move towards more of a developed model, which is more focused on domestic demand and household consumption in line with the rest of the world, but also because of the fact that they've been trying to deleverage their economy. So they've amassed this massive debt pile, $34 trillion worth, much like America. It's contained in the government sector, shadow banks if you could call it that, but really everything's government sector in China, in my opinion. And really what we have seen is that debt load, $34 trillion, what they've been trying to do is deleverage the economy because it's obviously costing them a lot of money as far as debt repayment is concerned. And in deleveraging the economy, that's slowing down growth too. That said though, what we have seen with the trade war take place and growth slowing, we have seen the Chinese try to stimulate their economy. So as I mentioned earlier, they announced a $300 billion tax cut plan. So personal income tax for people, those were cut. Also value-added tax were cut for manufacturing, real estate and infrastructure-based companies as well. Annual exports from Queensland to China, currently at $28 billion. That's up by 18%. So things are still going particularly well in this state when it comes to exports, particularly of bulk commodities and natural gas. And what we have seen is a 16% increase in coal exports. There's a very strong correlation between economic growth and household consumption. So retail spending by you guys, it comprises 60% of the economy. And economic growth at the end of last year slowed down to 2.3%. And our view is it'll probably slow down to around 2.2% by year end. If we move around the country, we've had strong population growth, we're now playing catch up to that in the big cities. And on the back of that, we've seen engineering work done as far as public transport related infrastructure spending up by 9% to $38 billion. But where we are concerned at the moment is that in the lead up to the election this year, we've seen business investment slow down, particularly in the services sector. And you can see the Australian Industry Group, they do a gorge or an activity-based index based on the services sector below the Reserve Bank's 2-3% target. Wages growth picking up a little bit to 2.4%. Unemployment we think will stay around the 5% level, and the Reserve Bank hopes so. We think the rates will be cut to 1%. The share market will get to 6,600, and we think the US will cut rates at the end of this year. Combined with Chinese stimulus will keep the Aussie dollar around the low 70s. But we actually think that those personal income tax cuts, the $158 billion that were announced, or the 144 prior to that perhaps, will add a 50 basis point stimulus to the economy as opposed to an interest rate cut.
Is this concept of risk should be used as efficiently as possible at all levels of the investment program? This is our mantra. This is just inscribed on our hearts. Risk has to be used efficiently at all levels of the investment program. What does it mean? It means that for every unit of risk you put into a portfolio, you want a good return. You want a good reward for putting that risk in.